These are the plaintiffs, Sean Cunningham and Catherine Bartzokis. Sean says he and the defendants started a tattoo pole dancing business together, and they were stiffed on their wages. They sunk a huge amount of money into the business and haven't seen a dime in the entire time they worked there. They can't believe their former friends are treating them so badly and hope the judge awards them the $5,000 they're owed. These are the defendants, Daniel and Kelly Wells. They say they all invested in the startup business and no one was getting wages because they were building up a clientele. Besides, the plaintiffs only paid half their share of the startup money and still owe them $30 grand. The guy acts like a teenager, is not very mature, and if anyone's owed money, it's them. They're accused of not inking the deal completely.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Sean Cunningham and Catherine Bartzokis? Bartzokis. You are suing Daniel and Kelly Wells, doing business as Stigma, for $5,000 in wages that who earned? You or both?
I did.
That you earned?
Ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you'll have to explain to me why she's in the lawsuit. That you earned during the time of October through December of 2010 in a business that you all had invested in. Tell me what's going on.
Well, me and Danny did the majority of my tattoos. And
he did a majority of your tattoos?
That's how we first met. And he told me about a business opportunity downtown that he could actually relocate the tattoo business and actually earn more money. And so we became partners. And we discussed that I would be the manager of the bar section and he would be the manager of the tattoo.
But what bar and what tattoo? Like, what was the business that you guys were going to open?
It's a bar tattoo shop.
Bar tattoo shop.
Yes. It's kind of a different idea.
It's the last thing I want my people doing is drinking while they're deciding what tattoo to get. You know,
actually, that's good for business.
You should walk into this with really open eyes and sober. But anyway, you moved into a location in downtown. And you opened up a tattoo/bar.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else going on there? A little something else, right?
A little something
Go ahead.
else.
What was a little something else?
We teach pole fitness, pole dancing.
Pole dancing. Now, you were actually giving pole dancing lessons, or?
Yeah, we have a pole class area where you can learn, and the tattoo area, and the bar is like, if you're there, you can have a drink. It makes it a little bit more fun.
Okay, is there dancing too, or that's not done?
Just pole dancing.
Pole dance. There's only pole dancing.
Only pole dancing.
Okay, so what happens?
Well, we opened up and we got everything going.
And who was, by the way, and I know that I guess this is part of a separate lawsuit, your investment in the business?
Right.
How much did you guys invest in the business?
It was a little over $40,000 in cash.
Did you have a partnership agreement?
Yes.
In writing? Did you go to a lawyer for it, or did you do it yourselves?
Did it ourselves.
First mistake.
Friends.
First mistake. I mean, you invested like your,
life savings.
Life savings. You weren't the only one putting up money. They put up money too?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing. It was all your money.
Right. Isn't that convenient?
No, that's stupid. Yeah. But see, I would know that when I put my money, and you should have too. So it's not a matter of nobody duped you. That was your decision.
Right,
he has the know-how. He has the clientele. I'm going to be the money guy. He's going to be the guy who gets this thing and makes me a lot of money out of my money. It just doesn't work out so well if 4 months later you're in litigation. All right, so go ahead.
Before that, me and Danny talked about if I just wanted to invest the money so they could open up the location, and because I own a pest control business also. And I told Danny, I'm like, no, I actually want to be a part of it just as much as you are. So we decided that, okay.
What did the partnership agreement say? That you were 50-50 owners?
Would you like to see it? We have it.
Yeah, but can you just give me an idea?
I was 40% and he knew he was 60% because I knew Danny would actually bring in money from the tattoos also. So I
just fell off a cliff. You're investing $40,000, potentially $60,000, and it's a paragraph-long agreement?
Yes.
To save the $1,000 a lawyer would have cost you, a business lawyer? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we started off good, and then I'd come to Danny and I'm like, hey, we need to get everybody on W-2s, because we talked about when we started off that me, Kelly, and Danny were all going to be under W-2s and everybody else was going to be on 1099s. So at that point, we still weren't on W-2s and after the first month. And I came to Danny and I'm like, man, we have to get this done.
What happened when you say we weren't on W-2s? Were you earning a paycheck?
No.
Were they earning a paycheck? But other people were getting paid just sort of like under the table?
From what we
Staff
understood,
would get paid.
Staff was getting paid.
from what we
People were
understood, we weren't getting any money, and they weren't getting.
Nobody
they weren't
was supposed to
making
get any money.
right?
Until when?
Until Sean actually kept pressing the issue of doing the W-2s, and finally said, "I want to be on the bank account so that I can maybe he can do it himself."
Because you weren't on the bank account?
right, not yet.
Not yet.
So he was put on the bank account, and that's
How do
when
you
we
know
saw
that
a
they
bank
weren't going to
statement.
take your money and go to Vegas? Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I was there to run the bar
Okay.
and all the security.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much you're suing for wages? $15 an hour. When did all these discussions come up about how much you were getting paid an hour and all that?
Well, we always discussed that I would be paid what a manager made downtown.
What's going on?
Basically, the partnership wasn't a partnership. It was an investment. It wasn't achieved.
That's not what this says. The one paragraph that is there says 60-40. When
okay.
you need his money, then it's a partnership.
We would have quite happily worked it out where we could have worked together and had him as an investor and have dividends. We've paid staff from day one. We have a bar manager. We have tattoo artists. We have dance instructors that are all paid checks weekly. He only started kicking up a fuss when he wanted money, when it didn't matter about anyone else. It was
How
only
long
his.
had he been there before he wanted money, according to you?
It was, I reckon, mid-December.
Which means what? How many
About
months?
6 weeks, 8 weeks.
And until that point, what was he doing there? Was he there every day?
No.
No.
Yes, he was.
What
there.
was- just a second.
Years.
Just a
I can't
second.
believe that.
What was he doing?
He would hang out with people, girls, guys coming in, chit chat, watch TV, play on his computer. He had a computer there that wasn't the company's computer. Honestly, we asked ourselves that many times. Why is he here? He has a pest control
what was
business.
your plan?
We have staff that do all their jobs. We have a bar manager. There's a statement.
Wait, lady, listen. Somebody better start explaining stuff to me because I'm not an idiot. And at some point, you guys had a plan.
Right.
You're bringing in a partner because you can't do it alone and you need his green or their green. So you need them. So you are telling them what in return for I mean, I know now you'd like them to just be a silent partner. In fact, you want them to be in Tahiti because you don't want them. But that's not how you know, when you want that, I got a plan. Don't involve anybody else. Do it on your own. If you don't have the cash to do it, wait until you do.
Right.
But when you don't, when you take somebody's green and you tell them they're going to be a partner, and you must have told them he had some role
We
there
wanted a
because the
partner.
guy wanted a role. He didn't want to go, squash cockroaches somewhere anymore. He's got that business and let that business run itself.
Right.
Now he wants to be part of the scene.
The idea
okay, he wants to be at the partner bar, pole
Yeah,
dancing
tell me
place.
about it.
And
That
well,
was what he
exactly.
wanted.
But you knew that. That's
That's
not a
what he
surprise.
wanted.
That's how you lured him in to take his green. So tell me what the plan was of what he should be doing there. Stop talking, Daniel. You talk to me.
I guess I figured that he would gradually learn to become a manager, but it never happened. It never happened.
So what happened that snapped the relationship between you folks?
I guess
Actually, let me ask you because you're the one
Yes.
that snapped.
Actually,
Tell me.
what it was when I looked at the bank statements, and Danny just said, he's like, we're not making any money. There's no money. And that's not true. I have bank statements showing that the profit that we did make, and that's what made me snap.
And what was the profits?
I
were
haven't.
they?
Danny was using every bit of the money for himself.
So the sales from October 1st to the mid-December were $24,000. Okay, then there's expenses, of course.
Yeah, but with the expenses, we actually did the build out. So we had a year to a year and a half of no rent. So the major of the expenses was utilities, cable. It can't cost more than $2,000.
Then there was unknown expense, $16,000. Who typed this up? I don't understand. What is this?
My accountant, I had to look into the books.
Okay,
and then
so
that's
your
when we had a
accountant-
problem.
Your accountant, according to your accountant, $17,000 of the money is unaccounted for?
Yes. Danny was able to spend money, go in and out, do stuff. No, we would go out to eat and he would pay and then I would pay. So I was wondering, I'm like, how is he affording all this?
Because he doesn't have another salary.
Yes. And when I looked at the bank statements, there was stuff like Blockbuster. There was over $700 worth of gas in that month. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Netflix.
So you had an inkling that they were paying their own personal living expenses out of the company.
They were using the money and then they're saying, we don't have money to pay payroll. And I'm like, yes, we do have money to pay. And then after that, I'm like, I just threw my hands up because we got into a verbal argument.
Oh, I bet.
And it was just bad. He called the cops. And then, he tried to get me.
To the site?
Yeah, he tried to get me kicked out for good. And then at that point, I'm just like, buy me out. Give me my money that I put into it. Just buy me out. Did you think I saw anything? Nothing. And then after that, I'm like, I'm coming down there. I'm going to run the bar then. If you're not going to give me money, I'm going to run the bar. So I go back in there to run the bar. And then he closes everything, changes the locks, and tells me it's under new management, that he sold the company to his wife.
Did you sell the company to your wife? No,
oh,
right?
No.
But that's what he said.
Yeah.
Don't talk to them directly.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Would you, if you had $40,000 to invest in a business, would you do it without hiring a lawyer?
No, I'd definitely hire a lawyer.
Why would you?
Because I want to be covered. I want to know that I had all the information that I needed.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. Is it insane not to hire a lawyer when you invest that kind of money?
Yeah, it's insane to not hire a lawyer when you're investing $40,000. I mean, you don't really know the legal system, for one, and two, I mean, he's gone.
You don't know how to protect yourself if something goes wrong, right? Right. Is that right? That's right. Going inside the courtroom.
Do you have an attorney? And are you in litigation
Actually,
on the more major issue of where your money is?
Not yet.
Not yet, but there's going to be.
Yeah.
Do you guys realize how tenuous this whole thing was?
Believe me, it was a nightmare. We almost got to the point where we would leave the studio to try and have a few hours with our kids, and he would show up and take a computer, take $1,000 out of the register. It had gotten to the point where our own staff would be scared to be there with him. And honestly, he's making it seem very one-sided, and it really wasn't.
What was your vision of what his job was? If he was he obviously made clear to you that he wanted, put your hand down, that this was his new interest.
Right.
That he wanted to be a part of it. He wasn't a silent part. You knew that. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, he wanted to run the bar, but other people did that.
Well, then why didn't he run? But if he wanted to run the bar and he took his money, you say, okay, why were other people doing it?
Because he couldn't do it.
Well, I'm not asking you. Because he couldn't do it.
One
Why?
occasion, the very first time.
What was he doing?
He just couldn't cope with customers asking for this and asking for that. He actually came over to Danny the very first time he tried to run on his own and said, I need your help, man, I can't do this. As an employee, we did not need him there. He didn't actually serve a purpose, if that makes sense.
Why? What was he doing when he was there? According to him, he's there every day. What was he doing?
Hanging out. That was it. I mean, I've got witness statements from staff, from people that were there.
Give me the witness statements. What do they say he was doing?
One of them thought he was a customer for a long period of time until she worked there long enough to actually realise, oh, he's supposed to be one of the owners. Okay.
How long did she think that? Until she worked there long enough? Because he doesn't strike me as a silent kind of guy. Just
no, he's
drinking
not.
in a corner.
But he would sit behind the customer side of the bar, hang out, have a drink, go across the street, have a drink somewhere else, go eat, come back. It wasn't work. There is. At the end of the day, we would ask each other many times, what did Sean actually do today? Does he really need to be there?
And somebody named Rihanna Butler says she's been working there since it opened and she had no idea he was an employee. He would come in as an investor and friends with the owner. This wasn't strange. He just hung out at the bar and talked with employees and customers and never saw him perform any duties.
And that was the point. It was just simple. We weren't trying to say to him, your investment doesn't stand. His investment stood the whole time. There's just no wages to be earned when no one's getting paid as an owner anyway, a wage.
Yeah, but that doesn't release you. Listen, all that's fine and dandy until he looks at the bank statements and finds out that you're paying your personal bills out of the business.
There is, honestly...
Well, how's Netflix
because we have screens everywhere. We have TV screens everywhere.
Target, how's the gas? How do you spend that kind of gas?
Oh, we have.
You guys had no other income, so you're clearly paying your expenses out of this. If there's $24,000 brought in a month and a half, and what you show as profit is $3,000, where did the other money go, guys? Seriously.
Honestly, I could give you the
receipts. See
receipts.
how I see
I
through
understand
you.
it doesn't look
so
great.
Then, John, of course it doesn't look good.
But we never actually got to sit down with Sean and discuss any of it because he decided he'd just threatened to cut Danny's fingers off instead. And push me and start to get completely violent, which meant we couldn't sit down and discuss anything. On New Year's Eve, he had set up a bank account fraudulently, and Bank of America are dealing with that as identity theft. He had set up a bank account and a merchant account to run credit cards, came in and reprogrammed our credit card machine.
So that all of the things that came in would end up in his bank account?
He'd already taken $4,000 from the register that week. And staff saw that, and he'd taken equipment to run our bar. So we had no register.
Did you switch? That's diabolical. Did you switch the credit card?
I have proof.
No, what me and Danny talked about is me taking over the bar, and that's exactly
so that's what you did. You put in your own.
So I wanted my partnership, and he was trying to.
Let me tell you. I'll tell you what. I don't know what you talked about, but I know what you didn't talk about. I have one issue in front of me, which is: do I retroactively set wages for a time when you say you were working and they say you weren't? You say you stop talking. You were there every day like a salaried employee is, and other people say no, he was there as a partner. I know what you were there. You was there as a partner to watch your business. The first time you decide I ought to be getting a say, you might have talked about W-2ing, but at the moment while you were there was no salary. There was no amount agreed upon. You're not an employee. You are a partner, and they have not treated you like a partner. But I am not going to call you an employee for that amount of time that you were there, because now everybody's got their hand in the cookie jar and people can't straighten it out. No. I find that there wasn't an employee agreement that you can enforce, that you can prove based on the testimony that's so disputed in front of me. And I got to tell you, if I were you, I would sit down with a good business lawyer right away, okay, and get to court before, because every day that passes is a day that somebody else can stick their hand into the register and take the money out. Do you understand me? This is a cash business. This is a very dangerous thing to not be a part of when you have your money invested like this. So, there was a huge risk involved in getting into this, and unfortunately, everything that can go wrong has. As far as wages are concerned, I find that you haven't proven the case to me, and therefore I rule in favor of the defendants.
Hold on right there, please.
Well, the plaintiff loses on the employee portion of this case. So, and step on out here and tell me what's your feeling on the ruling on that?
I'm very disappointed. I actually hired the majority of the staff, did the computer work. I was an employee there. Mm-hmm. And if Danny was able to take money and be paid also as an employee, so should I.
All right. This is settled. Now, the next part of it is, as the judge advised you, get yourself a business lawyer and go after the money that you invested in this company. What are you going to do?
Yes, I'm definitely going to do that.
Mm-hmm. So they'll be back in court facing you at some point? For sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Good luck with that as you head around the corner. All right, come on in here. So you win on the employee part. What's your feeling?
I think that was right. He wasn't an employee, and we've never disputed the fact that he put an investment into the company. We just didn't want to work with a crazy man that wanted to cut our fingers off.
But you were an employee, right?
No, I've ever been paid.
Were you an employee?
No, none of us are paid employees at all.
What about his threat to take you back into court now to try to get his money back?
That's fine. We expected that the whole time. We just didn't think he would expect wages for doing nothing.
Okay, Harvey.
Okay, the reason to hire a lawyer in a situation like this is you have to account for all of the contingencies, all of the possibilities of what could go wrong, and then what your rights are if they do go wrong. Real hard for a layperson to figure that out. Now, we'll do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.